The cameras were never meant to roll. The judge had ordered a closed hearing. No press, no leaks, just silence. But when Academy darling Nora Kingsley took the stand and locked eyes with her country music husband, Cade Rivers, silence became a weapon, because I protected a brand instead of protecting myself. That one line cracked the ceiling of Hollywood's most worshipped love story. For 15 years, they'd sold us sunsets, ballads, and red carpet perfection. Tonight, the curtain finally caught fire. Sources inside the courtroom say Cade's jaw clenched. His lawyer froze, and Nora reached into a folder marked July, a folder the studio had begged her never to open. The documents, unheard recordings, private emails, and one handwritten note that read, "Truth owes no one an apology." By the time she finished her first sentence, the gallery was trembling, and when she whispered the words, "I have proof," even the judge forgot to breathe. Hollywood's golden marriage had become a live-streamed reckoning. The brand was dead. The truth was alive and hungry. The air inside courtroom felt electric, humming like the pause before thunder. Cade Rivers sat rigid at the defense table. Denim collar crisp, knuckles white against polished oak. Across the aisle, Nora Kingsley adjusted the microphone, a single tremor in her hand betraying nerves that 10 years of acting couldn't hide. The judge asked for silence. Reporters leaned so far forward, their badges clicked against the rail. Then Nora began. "Everyone wanted a storybook," she said. "But stories have editors. I just stopped letting mine cut the truth." Gasps fluttered through the gallery. Cade's mouth opened, then closed again. He didn't dare look at her for months. Rumors had swirled that something was wrong with Hollywood's most profitable power couple. The canceled joint interview, the mysterious deleted anniversary post, the missing wedding ring during awards season. But no one expected this of public. Unraveling inside a courtroom where microphones were supposed to be off, except one was still. Live, a court technician later confessed he forgot to kill Channel B. The feed bled into a backup recorder used for transcription. By the end of the day, that audio 32 minutes long would leak online. But right now, in real time, the secret was still just a heartbeat waiting to explode. Nora's lawyer slid a folder toward the clerk. "Exhibit A," he said. "Correspondence between Mr. Rivers and his management team concerning Project July." The judge frowned. Project July. Nora's gaze flicked toward Cade. "It's what they called my silence." Murmurs erupted. The gavel cracked once. Inside the folder, screenshots of emails. Lines highlighted in yellow. "Need to contain this before press tour frame her exhaustion as creative burnout. She won't go public if she still believes he's sober." The room tilted. Cade's lawyer objected, voice cracking. But Nora's counsel kept talking over him. Mrs. Kingsley endured deliberate image manipulation designed to protect a commercial partnership, not a marriage. Cade finally spoke. "That's not true." His voice was low, hoarse, more human than fans had ever heard. "They twisted everything. We were fixing it." Nora's reply cut through him. "Then why did you record our therapy sessions?" Dead silence. Her words landed like a grenade. Reporters scribbled so fast, their pens squealed. Cade's head dropped into his hands, according to later released transcripts. Nora explained that while they attended couples therapy last year, hidden cameras were discovered behind framed photos in the retreat suite, installed by a third-party production company working on a docu-special. Cade had signed off, allegedly convinced it would help the brand. "I told him I needed healing," Nora said. "He gave me lighting." The judge asked if she possessed evidence. Nora nodded once. Audio, video, timestamps, contracts. Court recessed for 10 minutes. Outside, chaos ignited by noon. Hashtag Project July and hashtag Lighting Not Healing were trending worldwide. TikTok flooded with edits of old red carpet clips, Nora smiling too hard, Cade tugging her shoulder. Fans claimed they could see the tension years ago. Others refused to believe it, calling the trial a publicity stunt. But then a gossip site posted the first leak. A still frame from the hidden camera footage. Timestamped July 18th, 2:13 a.m., Nora sat on the edge of a hotel bed, eyes red, whispering, "Please turn it off." Cade's blurry silhouette faced the lens and said, "We're almost done." Within minutes, the screenshot hit every platform. The production company issued a denial. The court issued a gag order. The internet ignored both. Back in session, Cade's lawyer tried to contain the bleeding. "My client deeply regrets any miscommunication regarding documentary material. It was never intended for distribution." Keena's lawyer rose. "Intent doesn't erase invasion." The judge demanded order. Nora stood, voice steady, but eyes glassed with unshed tears. "He wasn't filming a documentary," she said. "He was filming proof that I wouldn't leave." You could hear people gasp like they'd been slapped. Cade leaned into the mic. "That's not stop." Nora's tone cracked through the air like a whip. "For once, let the footage speak for itself." Court adjourned early. Outside, fans lined the barricades, chanting her name as security escorted her to a waiting SUV. Cameras flashed. She kept her chin high. But inside that car, witnesses said she folded into herself. Hands shaking so badly her assistant had to buckle the seatbelt. Across town, Cade locked himself in a hotel suite. His PR team cycled statements every hour. None worked. Every post drew the same reply: "Let the footage speak." By dusk, a 20-second audio clip leaked Nora's voice trembling. "I begged you not to monetize my pain." Cade's response: low and cold. "Pain sells." The clip had 12 million views before midnight. Celebrity reactions poured gasoline. A-list actresses tweeted support. Country icons posted vague Bible verses. A late-night host cracked, "Guess he strummed the wrong chord." Fans weren't laughing. Then came the meltdown, an anonymous insider rumored to be a junior. Publicist mailed multiple outlets claiming Cade's team had dozens of unreleased clips labeled "Emotional B-roll, use later." Some allegedly captured Nora crying in rehearsal spaces. Others showed her asleep between takes while producers whispered about keeping the timeline dramatic. The insider attached one blurry frame as proof. The industry panicked. Networks cut reruns of the couple's reality specials. Sponsors pulled merchandise. A fragrance line they'd co-branded, Harmony by Nora and Cade, vanished overnight from storefronts. But the internet never sleeps. Amateur sleuths scoured metadata, matching timestamps to tour stops, reconstructing a digital map of betrayal. Hashtag activists turned it into a movement. Hashtag unscripted women. Every platform burned. Meanwhile, Nora went completely silent. No posts, no sightings. Just one paparazzi shot of her outside a coffee shop, hoodie up, reading a paperback titled "The Art of Letting Go." The photo alone trended for a week. Then another TWISTA podcast called Backstage Whispers released a teaser claiming to have exclusive voicemail evidence proving Cade's label executives encouraged him to keep filming Nora's breakdowns, promising it would test well with female audiences. They played a 6-second snippet, a man saying, "If she cries, that's Emmy Gold." The label threatened lawsuits. The hosts tripled their listeners overnight. Inside the courthouse, a storm brewed quietly. Cade filed a motion to suppress all recordings on grounds of confidentiality. Nora's team countered that privacy ended the moment he turned her healing into content. The judge ordered both sides to deliver originals by morning, but overnight, someone leaked everything. 3 hours of footage appeared on an anonymous Dropbox. Link titled July Files. INTERNET devoured it before. Nora continued. The footage wasn't the betrayal. The storyline was. Her lawyer slid a thumb drive toward the clerk. "Your Honor, Exhibit HN edited reels from July Files. The original timeline tells a different story." The judge hesitated, then allowed playback. The courtroom lights dimmed. The projector flickered to life. The first frame, Nora, smiling faintly in a therapy chair. Off camera, Cade says softly, "We'll call this growth." Then cut, different angle. Kate again, but the time stamp is earlier. Make sure she says she's proud of me after this one. The gallery gasped. The edit had been manipulated, reversed. The so-called breakthrough scene everyone saw was scripted. Retroactively, Cade's lawyer slammed his folder shut. The judge called an immediate recess. Outside, headlines detonated. Raw footage proves Nora was framed for TV. Social media imploded reaction videos. Crying compilations, country music boycotts. Think pieces about manufactured masculinity. And somewhere deep inside the courthouse, Cade Rivers disappeared into a side corridor, face hidden behind his hands, whispering to a marshal. Tell her I didn't know they'd flipped the order. But Nora was already gone, escorted through a private exit. Her SUV sped past flashing bulbs into the rain, windshield wipers carving, rhythm over thunderdot, and just when the world thought they'd seen the worst of it. When everyone believed the tapes were the Endener file surfaced in the leaked folder. A locked video marked simply Final Cut. Password protected, 2 minutes long. Upload date. Tomorrow, the world woke up to chaos. Every phone screen, every news feed, every trending page screamed the same headline in bold red. The Final Cut file leaks what's in the video Nora never wanted seen. At 7:42 a.m., someone cracked the password. Nobody knows who did it. A hacker? A rogue intern? Maybe even one of the lawyers. But within minutes, the Final Cut file was live. It's mirrored across fan servers faster than the court could blink. 2 minutes of footage. 2 minutes that set fire to Hollywood. The video opened with Nora in tears, sitting in that same therapy chair. Except this time, the camera wasn't steady. It was handheld. Someone was breathing behind it. Cade, stop, she whispered. You don't have to record everything. His voice off camera. Baby, this is how we remember what we're fighting for. Then the lens zoomed in too close, catching her flinch. Fade to black. Then text appeared, handwritten in white marker across the frame. She said, no, we filmed anyway. 'Twas enough. Fans didn't even need context. The internet declared war. Hashtags exploded across platforms like wildfire. Hashtag she said no. Hashtag Kate exposed. Hashtag Nora deserved better. Talk shows canceled their regular guests to host emergency panels. Streaming services yanked Cade's music overnight, terrified of being next. Within 24 hours, the video had been viewed over 300 million times. It became more than gossip. It was a movement. Meanwhile, Cade Rivers had vanished. His tour bus parked outside a Nashville recording studio sat untouched for days. His Instagram, normally flooded with behind-the-scenes videos, went dark. His management issued a sterile 3-line statement. Mr. Rivers is cooperating fully with all legal inquiries. We ask for privacy during this difficult time. Privacy. The internet laughed. There was no privacy anymore, not after the Final Cut. By noon, paparazzi had staked out Nora's home. She hadn't been seen since leaving the courthouse. Then, at 1:15 p.m., she appeared on her balcony wearing a plain white hoodie, hair pulled back, face bare. She didn't speak. She didn't wave. But she held up a single sheet of paper to the cameras. 3 words, written in black marker. This was real. That photo broke the internet. Every outlet ran it as the cover image. Memes turned it into a movement slogan. Activists printed it on protest signs. The New York skyline even saw it projected across a billboard that night. But while the world rallied around Nora, a darker side of the story began to surface. A pattern buried. Beneath the glitter dot, an anonymous whistleblower from the production company behind the documentary released a 27-page email thread. The subject line, July strategy. The messages outlined an entire marketing plan, release schedules, talking points, and an internal memo labeling Nora's emotional breakdowns as premium content opportunities. The most chilling line read, her tears test well. Keep cameras rolling. 'Twas the smoking gun. The story shifted from scandal to industry indictment. Networks scrambled to issue statements condemning unethical content practices. though half of them had used similar tactics. A-list celebrities lined up to pick sides. One actress tweeted, "We've all been told to smile through trauma." Nora just refused. Another, more cryptically, "There's a Cade in every contract." The internet was on fire, but Cade wasn't done yet at 3 a.m. 2 nights later. His dormant Instagram account suddenly came alive. A single video uploaded, grainy, low light, filmed inside what looked like a hotel room. Cade sat shirtless, eyes hollow, speaking directly to the camera. "I didn't leak that footage," he said, "but I won't lie, I let it happen. Because I thought if people saw us, they'd understand me. I was wrong." He paused, swallowed hard. "I never meant to hurt her. I wanted to show our truth. But truth without consent isn't truth. It's theft." The video lasted 56 seconds before disappearing, deleted by dawn. But it didn't matter. Millions saw it, downloaded it, dissected it. Re-upload spread like contagion. The reaction? Polarizing. Some fans praised his vulnerability. Others called it manipulation wrapped in remorse. Memes labeled it the apology tour nobody bought tickets for. By morning, Nora's legal team filed a motion for a full restraining order, not for safety, but for silence. No further use of her likeness, voice, or image without written consent, the documents read. The court approved it within hours. Cade Rivers could no longer publicly speak about Nora Kingsley in any capacity, but the damage was done. That same afternoon, a major entertainment network aired a leaked recording, a call between Cade's PR manager and a streaming executive days before the court case. In it, the manager casually said, "She's emotional. We can spin that. Audiences eat redemption arcs. Spin that. Redemption arcs." The backlash was volcanic. Within hours, advertisers began dropping contracts. A whiskey brand terminated its 10-year partnership with Cade. His tour sponsor pulled out. Even his fan club shut down its website, posting a single message: "We stand with Nora." And then the unexpected twist. Mama Rivers spoke. Cade's mother, a quiet Tennessee woman who'd avoided the spotlight for years, uploaded a short Facebook Live video from her kitchen table. Her words cut deeper than any headline. "My boy lost his way chasing lights," she said. "But don't think he's the only one. That girl tried to save him, and y'all watched them drown for ratings." She started crying halfway through, whispering they both deserved better. The internet softened for a moment. Then came the next bombshell. A TMZ-style leak revealed that during Nora's testimony, she'd submitted a hidden will, not a death will, but a career clause she'd written during her darkest point 2 years earlier. The clause left control of all her film royalties to a nonprofit organization for women leaving toxic entertainment contracts. That revelation flipped the narrative again. Nora wasn't just surviving. She was taking the entire industry down with her. Talk shows rebranded the story as the Nora effect. Journalists called it a cultural reckoning. Meanwhile, Cade's world crumbled. His mansion was surrounded by reporters. His management dropped him. His label temporarily suspended releases. He was, for the first time in 15 years, completely alone, except not entirely. A mysterious Twitter account under the handle @JulyWitness began posting cryptic messages. The first tweet, they told her to break so he could look like the hero. The second, the real director wasn't Cade. Screenshots surfaced of private emails between executives. One name kept recurring: Elliot Crane, the showrunner for Love, Lights, and Rivers. The reality dinosaurs that made them household names, according to leaked texts. Elliot had orchestrated everything: the therapy sessions, the recovery arc, even the camera placement inside that retreat. Cade, desperate to save his career, had signed a contract extension granting Elliot creative authority to capture authentic emotional growth. Only it wasn't growth. It was destruction scripted for profit. Nora's team went silent, likely preparing a lawsuit. But fans didn't wait. They launched #SueElliot. tagging every streaming service until one of them announced it was cutting ties with the producer permanently. By now, the story had transcended scandal. It was no longer about one couple. It was a morality play about fame, control, and the price of silence. Still, the human side wouldn't fade. Cade reappeared once, briefly. A bystander filmed him in an empty Nashville bar, playing a song to a crowd of 5. He sang one. Rumors claimed it contained hours of unseen footage and a 47-minute segment that ended with someone off-camera whispering, "Cut the cameras. She's breaking. Internet froze." Would it ever see the light of day? Would the judge unseal it? Or was this the moment Nora finally buried the nightmare once and for all? Outside the courthouse, protesters gathered holding signs that read, "Stop filming women's pain. Silence isn't consent. Let her rest." And somewhere behind tinted windows, Nora Kingsley watched the crowd chant her name. Her assistant asked softly, "Do you want to go out there?" Nora smiled faintly. "Not yet," she said. "Let them write the ending first." But destiny wasn't done writing. Because just hours later, one final leak dropped a raw voicemail, dated 2 weeks before the trial. Cade's voice, tired, sincere. "Nora, I found something. You need to see it before court. They edited more than we knew. I think Elliot's got footage of me too. Stuff that could ruin both of us. Call me back, please." Voicemail ended in static. And the internet lost its collective mind. If Elliot Crane had manipulated both of them, if the puppet master behind Hollywood's most toxic love story wasn't Cade or Nora, but the industry itself, then everything the world thought it knew about villains and victims might collapse overnight. The public waited, trembling, for what would come next, because the next hearing was scheduled in 3 days. And rumor had it Elliot Crane had been subpoenaed. 3 days later, downtown Los Angeles looked less like a courthouse and more like a movie premiere. Barricades lined the sidewalks. Helicopters circled above. Protesters chanted Nora's name while reporters barked questions that echoed off the marble. Inside, the air was thick with tension and perfume. You could smell nerves. You could smell money. You could smell the end of something enormous. Elliot Crane arrived last. No entourage. No sunglasses. Just a gray suit and a face carved from guilt. The man who directed the biggest lie in Hollywood history walked straight to the stand without looking at anyone. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but that didn't matter. The entire city was watching the live-streamed sketches and courtroom. Tweets like they were gospel. The judge asked if he understood the charges. Elliot nodded once. "Yes, Your Honor, I do." And then he began to talk. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He didn't try to deny. He just confessed on record, on tape, under oath, that everything Nora and Cade had lived through for the past 2 years was deliberately orchestrated. It started as a docuseries about healing, he said, voice shaking. Then the network wanted conflict. They said, love doesn't sell, pain does. I told them, no. They doubled the budget. So I said yes, the gallery gasped. Even the stenographer hesitated mid-typing. Elliot continued. We staged their reunion scene. We reshot arguments. We told Cade to provoke her off camera so she'd react naturally on camera. And when she finally broke down crying, begging for privacy, I called it gold. Right. He paused, wiped his eyes. I told the crew to keep rolling. Nora's attorney leaned forward. And the final cut file? Elliot swallowed that. Was my insurance? The room froze. He explained that after realizing the network planned to fire him and bury the entire project, he compiled all the raw footage into a single encrypted file, Final Cut. It contained not only Nora's tears, but also his own voice directing the chaos. He'd labeled it with a date and the words she said no. We filmed anyway as a confession, so if they ever aired it, the truth would surface too. Then who leaked it? The judge asked. Elliot looked directly at Cade Rivers. Ask him. The courtroom erupted. The gavel slammed like thunder. Cade's jaw dropped. That's a lie. Elliot didn't blink. You sent me a text, Cade, the night before the leak. If this is what it takes for her to forgive me, let it burn." The gallery gasped again. Nora's lips parted, but she didn't speak. The judge demanded evidence. Elliot motioned to his lawyer, who produced a printed screenshot of the text, verified with metadata. Time-stamped, geotagged, authentic. Cade buried his face in his hands. Nora whispered, barely audible, "You leaked it." Cade turned toward her, eyes red. "I thought it would make them stop protecting him. I thought it would free you. Free me." Her voice cracked. "You burned the world down around me." The judge ordered a 10-minute recess. But the damage was irreversible. Outside, the tweets flew faster than the stenographer's keys. Hashtag he leaked it. Hashtag Cade confesses. Hashtag justice for Nora. Within minutes, his sponsors released statements cutting ties. His label dropped him completely. A major talk show host posted, "He didn't just lose a wife, he lost the narrative." Inside, Nora sat motionless. For 2 years, she'd blamed a system, a production company, a faceless machine. Now the betrayal had a face, a voice, a heartbeat. Cade tried to approach her during recess, whispering, "You have to believe me." She turned her chair away. "Belief is what got me here." When court reconvened, the judge announced she'd reviewed the full July archives. The footage showed Elliot directing both of them like puppets, Cade being fed lines, Nora's therapy notes used as scripts. But the most shocking moment came at the end of the reel. A hidden camera in the editing bay, capturing Elliot and a studio exec laughing over a scene of Nora crying. "She doesn't know the mic's still hot," the exec said. Elliot's recorded voice replied, "Perfect. That's the trailer." The judge's voice trembled with controlled fury. "Mr. Crane, you exploited mental health treatment for entertainment. You'll answer to criminal court next." But before adjourning, she did something unexpected. She invited Nora to speak. The room fell silent as the actress stood. No tears this time, no shaking hands. Just calm, centered resolve. "I thought the worst thing you could do to someone was betray their love," she said. "Turns out, it's betray their story." She looked straight at Cade. "You were supposed to protect the parts of me they couldn't see. Instead, you sold them the parts I couldn't hide." Then she turned to Elliot. "And you filmed it, Elliot. And you filmed it."